Hi, welcome to Guitar Time. I'm Robert Knoll. This is a very special lesson of the greatest of the blues guitar players who I had the honor of touring the world with for some years, Mr. Albert Collins. Now this might be kind of a teaser because I plan to do a lot of videos on Albert's style because I know it well. I studied him, I talked with him, I watched him intimately play his guitar, and I understand. It's quite a bit different than most guitarists because when you learn Albert's style, or you work on Albert's style, his tuning was different. Now, I have a book coming out where I'm going to tell all the stories about Albert, okay? And the good times and bad times, the times when we cried and it was sad and hopeless, and the times when things were up and we laughed so hard our bodies were sore. But right now I just want to get into some basics, okay? Just so you can, hear and get into Albert a little bit, okay? So, the Iceman. His tuning was different. He didn't tune in standard tuning. He told me stories about his uncle Willow Young, that he learned from, and then he also told me stories about him being taught by some other Texas guitar players that I'll tell you about. Now, his tuning, let's just go into that briefly. His tuning was a minor tuning. Some people I've read said D minor, some people said F minor. I'm going to tune an E minor today because this is the tuning that I tuned Albert's guitar for him sometimes, in the E minor tuning. He could have been tuned up a half step sometimes. He might have done that on his own, and that would allow him to play an F minor. But E minor, it's an E minor chord, basically, okay? So you want to take your A string and tune that up to a B, right? To B, and then you want to go to your D string and tune that up to an E. And then everything else is the same. You've got the G, the B, and the E. So you got to remember, those two strings are different. So they're going to play different. Now let's go to the capo. Albert called this his cheater. This happens to be one of the cheaters Albert gave me. And this is a very prized possession. I'm thinking someday I might auction it because I'm hard up for some money and financially embarrassed, so I might have to auction this, maybe to a museum or something, but I'm going to use it today, okay? So I'm going to capo, use the cheater up on the 7th fret, which is going to put me in the key of C. So these were really special capos because Albert wound them. I'll do a video on this sometime, but he took the electrical tape and he wound it around these very special capos that he would buy. I think probably by the box, But another thing is, you should notice this was a strap Albert gave me. It has European money on it. It has his Albert, A for Albert. And this strap is on a lot of album covers, many of them. We were in a hotel one night. I had a certain guitar strap that had these big notes on it. And me and Albert were just sitting there playing and shucking and jiving. And he said, "Hey, son," he said, I want one of those guitar straps. So I just gave him my guitar strap. He gave me his. So that's the story on that. Maybe this will end up in a museum or someone will offer me some wonderful money for this someday. Maybe. But it's very precious to me right now. I cherish it as I do the capo, okay? So this guitar I used on the road with Albert in the days. It's a 68 thin line. It has the humbucking pickup like Albert had in his, except this is a semi-hollow body. I'd like to be a little different than Albert, so I use this guitar. This was the guitar that one night in Toronto, Albert came up when we were playing, where was that club? Stevie was in town, and we were at Albert's Hall, a place called Albert's Hall with Albert Collins, right? Well, Stevie came up and ended up jamming with us, and he didn't have his guitar with him, so he chose this one. This was the one that Stevie Ray played with Albert, and I moved over and grabbed my other 335 and played with them. So there's a lot of history here. All right. But let's get into just a little bit of Albert. So we know we're in an E minor tuning now. So one of the things that Albert did was he didn't use a pick. He used his thumb and index finger like pinchers, squeezers. And he would use sometimes his other fingers too, and he would use different rhythm techniques. So you want to hear this going like this. Listen. So this is like an E7 form that I have here. So if you listen, yeah. So if you've ever heard Albert Collins, you've heard this note a lot of times. And this is the root note, okay? It's on the B string in my third finger. And I have what I call a Mercial vibrato. Because Albert's vibrato was not fast like BB's. It wasn't slow, but it was icy. Albert liked that icy sound. He used a lot of reverb on his amps. Yeah, reverb was Albert's signature thing for the icy sound. Now, the Fender Quad reverb he used, he would, of course, volume was 10 most all the time, treble 10, bass 0, middle 0. Reverb, he would have it pretty high up there, and his bright switch would be on. So, you would definitely get the effect of the icy sound, and Mercial and loud. He was the loudest of the blues players. But he went right to your heart. He stabbed you in the heart with his notes. There you go. Well, how many times have you heard Albert do? Look at my thumb and my index finger. And when he hit those notes, he's rest stroking. Look at my index finger. Like a classical guitar player, I'm rest stroking. Did you hear that intro on some of Albert's songs? There we go. All right, stay tuned for a lot more Albert Collins to come to this guitar time, all right? Oh.